The stunning revelations about the mother and son on the run and the takedown in Mexico. The Affluenza teen, Ethan Couch, who killed 4 people in a drunk driving accident, and his mother now in custody. Investigators claiming they may even have had a party before their escape. ABC's Matt Gutman has the latest from Mexico tonight.
That 3-week manhunt for the privileged teen ending with Ethan Couch's arrest on this gritty street in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. In this new photo, you see him cuffed and loaded into a police van. This photo from Mexican authorities confirming 18-year-old Couch and his mother, Tanya, were detained Monday evening. The mother, who authorities tell us refused to sit still to be photographed herself, apparently changing her look. The son dyeing his blonde hair black. Ethan's transformation, so different from the childish-looking teen who pled guilty to killing 4 people in a 2013 drunk driving crash.
There's 4 or 5 kids, there's kids laying in ditches and streets. Oh, yes, there's another child in the ditch. Oh, my God.
In the sentencing, his legal team claimed he suffered from affluenza. Too rich and too spoiled to know right from wrong. His sentence, only 10 years probation and no jail time. The break for investigators coming on Christmas Eve, a week after U.S. Marshals released this wanted poster offering a $5,000 reward for any information, saying that he was on the run in this black Ford truck belonging to his mother, Tanya, who was also missing and believed to be with him.
Got some intelligence they'd probably driven that to the border and then crossed over.
Adding that before the fugitives set out on their 2,200-mile trek,
they even had something that was almost akin to a going-away party before they left town.
Mexican authorities were alerted on December 26th, and last night they got him.
It's like hunting a needle on a haystack, basically. I mean, there's so many Americans down there this time of year.
According to officials, when the pair arrived in Puerto Vallarta, they first checked into this beachside resort.
Tremendous amount of tourists down there, so American people were prevalent everywhere, and they wouldn't be somewhere they would stick out.
But then they relocated to this shabby apartment building on a quiet street. But not many Americans in this neighborhood where residents tell us Ethan stood out. So they ate right there in the back. Eyewitnesses in this neighborhood tell us that Ethan and Tanya Couch were escorted by police out of that door, their hands cuffed behind their backs, but they say they didn't resist, didn't struggle. Anybody home? 2 months ago, we tried to track him down. He was on probation. He'd never apologized for the deaths. They don't come to work at regular hours. They don't keep regular hours, so it's been really hard finding them. But he wasn't looking to talk. You don't answer a couple questions? But Couch soon surfaced again in this Twitter video that went viral. Investigators telling ABC News it appears to be Couch at this boozy party, possibly violating his probation. Sources telling ABC News it prompted Couch and his mother to flee, ditching his check-in with his probation officer. Tonight, he's in custody, but the kid who set off an international manhunt may only get up to 120 days in jail. He'll be out of prison as soon as he turns 19 in April. The next step for prosecutors is to try to move this case from juvenile court to adult court. So if there's ever any other kind of violation here, he could be facing serious time behind bars. It all started on the night of June 15th, 2013. Couch's blood alcohol was 3 times the legal limit when he got behind the wheel of his father's souped-up red pickup truck after a night of partying. Gunning it to 70 miles an hour, he lost control of the vehicle and swerved into a ditch, plowing into a group of people there. Bodies scattered hundreds of feet. 15-year-old Lucas McConnell survived the crash. Do you remember the sound of metal crunching, of glass breaking?
Glass breaking, tires screeching. The car that we were in got hit, and we got shot across the road. We nailed a tree. The back window was completely shattered. A lot of that glass was in the back of our heads.
Lucas's father, Kevin McConnell, pulled up to the crash scene just moments later.
It was chaos. There were people lying around, injured, hurt, dead, people yelling, screaming, help me.
The teen behind the wheel, Ethan Couch, walked away from that mangled truck.
Once Ethan Couch was found, the story came together pretty quickly.
So not only was he drunk, but there were traces of THC, Valium, and some other drugs.
Right, which, according to our toxicologists, were bad enough on their own, but you combine those with alcohol, just a recipe for disaster.
Richard Alpert is an assistant district attorney who came onto the case just a day after the crash. And he says he charged Ethan with everything he could, including 4 counts of intoxication manslaughter. Alpert wanted the poor little rich kid to do some big boy time.
We were hoping for and asked for 20 years.
But he was tried as a juvenile. He pled guilty. There was no trial, but during the sentencing, his defense team dropped that curious term.
Affluenza.
The judge sentencing Ethan to 10 years probation and time in a rehab facility. 5 of the families involved in the fatal crash brought civil lawsuits against him. The Couches settled those lawsuits without admitting any wrongdoing, but not before depositions were taken in one last case.
Tell us your name, please, sir.
Ethan Couch.
For the first time, the boy and his parents at the center of this story were forced to speak.
I'm taking Valium, hydrocodone, marijuana, cocaine, Xanax, Vyvanse. I think I tried ecstasy once. Pretty sure that was it.
At the time, his parents testifying that they allowed their young son a lot of freedom, including driving at the age of 13.
You understood if he was, at any time he was under 16, he was never to be driving by himself.
Yes.
Nevertheless, you allowed that behavior to happen, correct?
Yes.
I just kept asking because I wanted to, and eventually they started letting me drive just like the corner store by myself.
Before the deadly crash, Ethan was required to complete an alcohol awareness course and 8 hours of community service within 90 days due to a previous incident. Guess what?
We didn't do the community service.
You understood, did you not, that he was likely to continue the drinking and driving if there weren't consequences?
I should have known that, yes. I really didn't think that that would happen again.
At one point, Ethan's parents branded in the media as the worst parents ever.
I don't think we're profoundly dysfunctional.
Did you teach Ethan that wealth bought privilege?
I don't believe I ever intentionally tried to teach him that.
Do you recall ever disciplining Ethan for anything?
Sometimes I would take little things away from him, or we would just discuss the problems.
When's the last time you recall disciplining Ethan for anything?
I don't remember.
But now Ethan and his mother, Tanya, are both in custody and are set to be deported back to the U.S. within the next 24 hours to face the consequences.
Our suspicion that his mother was assisting him and helping him has proven true.
So far, authorities say they haven't uncovered any evidence that Ethan's father is involved, but they say they now have enough reason to try to punish the mother for continuing to facilitate her son's behavior. They say they expect her to be charged with the third-degree felony of hindering an apprehension. Amazingly, his mother could face more jail time than him at this point because he's in juvenile court. He can only face up to 120 days. She's facing the possibility of up to 2 to 10 years behind bars. For Nightline, I'm Matt Gutman in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.